This is my budget app for my Rails project with JavaScript. So it loads up. This is an empty budget for May. And so here we have, it loads up the categories list that we have, any money that you've budgeted towards categories, any activity in those categories for the month, and any money available to spend in those categories. That's what those are. So if we go to our checking account here, we can add a transaction. So let's go ahead and add, just pick a date. Let's say this person works for Costco, and so they want this money to go to their to be budgeted category. This is income. Let's say they made $1,200 inflow, save. So here's our transaction. It appears there. Our balance changes to reflect the $1,200 that's in our checking account now. And if we go back to our budget, we have $1,200 that we can budget. And so let's say that they want to make some purchases in clothing at some point. Let's say they have an electric bill coming up. They want to put some money to that, some money for gas and cars, some money for groceries. We have an internet bill, and so we can put money into all these categories, and the money that's to be budgeted keeps going down depending on what we're putting. And then this side is what's available to be budgeted. Let's put a phone bill. And so let's just stay with that there. And so, for example, we have $100 in clothing. So let's take our American Express credit card, add a new transaction, and let's say they go shopping on the 18th. They'll go to Old Navy for clothing. They buy some shirts. It ends up being $24.99, and that's an outflow. So we save. So here our credit card balance. We can see that we have a balance there of $24.99. Here's our transaction. And if we go back to our budget, we can see that clothing, there's been activity there, the $24.99 purchase, and we have this much left from 100, which is $24.99 less. And then also in our credit card, we have activity, and then we have this much available to pay our credit card since we budgeted that money for clothing. So we can also edit transactions. So say this person ended up going to Target to get their clothes instead. That's updated now. We can update the date. It wasn't the 18th, it was the 17th. Now that's updated. And that doesn't change these numbers out here. So let's say that we can also delete a transaction. So we can right click, delete row, and so that deletes that transaction. And we can go back here and see that there's no activity on the credit card anymore. We still have $100 in our clothing, no activity, it's still available. So you can add new transactions, update them, and also delete them. And that's the basic functionality. This is the JavaScript front end that's communicating with Rails API, that's keeping all the categories. The accounts and transactions are three models that it's working with. So that's the budget app.